many occasions where people can be ill or they can be tired and they can fall asleep. And then there are narcissistic individuals who will pretend to be asleep to work a situation to their advantage. So they can be invited to somebody's special occasion and they can sit in the corner and pretend to fall asleep. You can be about to give birth to your firstborn child, and the narcissist, because it's not all about them, will pretend to fall asleep, not because they're tired, not because they're worn out, but because the attention isn't on themselves. You can have a nice day arranged with your children and the narcissist will just pretend to be asleep in bed, and you, no matter what you try, you just can't seem to wake them up because they're not interested. A narcissistic individual will quite happily pretend to be asleep to avoid having some form of conversation with you. So they can feign that incompetence, so they can do very little in the home, and you can walk in through the door from work and you can go and speak to them and they'll be laid there on the sofa fast asleep, and you might cover them up with a blanket and think they're tired and they're worn out, because this can happen in life, and in a relationship two people help each other out. However, with a narcissist, it's a manipulation tactic and they pretend to be asleep so that you do everything for them. They might pretend to be asleep to avoid having a conversation with you. So if something's happened during the day, they will go to bed and they will fall right asleep, no problem. It's only they're not actually asleep. They're just pretending to be asleep so that they don't have to communicate with you. And no matter how much you try to wake them, it's not going to happen, or they're going to turn around and accuse you of disturbing their sleep, so you're the one that feels bad, even though they were only pretending. They will pretend to fall asleep to get out of doing any form of chore, to get out of helping you, to get out of taking you somewhere they said they'd take you. A narcissistic person will pretend to be asleep to manipulate others into doing things for them. They will pretend to fall asleep to gain sympathetic attention of how tired and overworked and stressed they might be. And as we can be tired and overworked and stressed and fall asleep, you don't see the narcissist pretending in order to manipulate. They can pretend to be asleep to feign that helplessness, that they're just too worn out to do anything. And they can pretend to be asleep to avoid taking all responsibility. This isn't someone who's tired or drained or ill or poorly or asleep. This is a narcissistic individual pretending to be asleep as a form of manipulation so that they don't have to face the consequences, so that they don't have to take responsibility, so that they don't have to do the mundane things that they don't want to do.